right, here we are at day 16, continuing our venture into functions, objects, arrays, all kinds of great stuff. Just wanted to say for those of you mostly taking this in the online mode that October 1st, which is a Tuesday, we are going to have demo day. And what that means is it's going to be the only day that you have to show up to class to actually demonstrate what you've worked on so far. Okay, so that's November 1st, a Tuesday. So this is a couple weeks in the future, but I'm just telling you now. So hopefully you can arrange to be in class. That will be the night they evaluate me. So I just think it would be fun to actually do that. So put that on your calendars, November 1st. And then, of course, Dev Fest coming up October 22nd. If you want a ticket, many of you have, let me know and I'll make sure that happens. Okay, so coming back here. So today you're going to refactor your blog to use an array with each blog post as an object inside the array. Because on day 15 we just gently I thought, introduced the idea of objects and how you can call functions to display the object content into the page. But as many of you already noticed based on the free code camp work and maybe other work that you've done, typically what you see is the implementation that I'm about to do. And then at the end I'm going to foreshadow what's coming next week. Okay, so let me show you my code. So in here, this is the code we had done before. So this was version 1 where we had one object per blog. Okay, and for those of you that didn't see it, I did put in an add event listener for the mouse over, which was fun. But this is what you're going to do for today. So now what you do is you create still some variable that will represent your array, okay? And inside of your array, then you will have objects, okay? So here's your object literal, and then I didn't have to include this number, I just did because it was kind of fun. And then I still have a title, author, and by the way, you need commas after each key value pair in your object, except the last one doesn't, okay? So that's my first object in my array, my first position, my 0 position, and now the comma is my second, or actually my 0, 1 position here is my next object, okay? And then, so you can see in this case I have 4 objects within my array, okay? And I want you to have at least 4, maybe 5 to do this. So this code is not what I would consider nice looking code at all. As a matter of fact, I've already seen that I'm having a resistance and I'm not sure why, so I'm just going to make myself do it next week to actually creating elements through the code. So I'm not sure why. Maybe it's just because you get used to doing something and it works, but just know that on the foreshadow will also change this process, because it's like you know how to do it, so hopefully it's time to go to the next step. Okay, so I created in my case my function, I called it show blog post 1 just because I kept my other code in there. You don't have to. And I created a variable that was blank, and then I did a loop. So I loop through, so I set the variable and I the incrementer, and then I ask. Now, by the way, let me step back for a second here. I did pass in the post. So now in this case, the post is the name of my array is blog post. So exactly like we did before, in this sense, when we do show blog post 1, which is my next version of this, I pass in the object. Oh, sorry, pass in the array. Okay. So when I pass in, it's called post. And so the nice thing about having it all in one array is that you can ask questions like post.length. Okay, so that tells me how many positions are in the array so that I can then loop over them, okay, based on the number. right? So this code is code we haven't necessarily done, but you've seen in free code camp. So I set my initial incremental variable. I ask if this incremental variable is less than or I is equal to post my incoming array dot length, right? So by the way, just so you know, you can go to the command line and just ask what is the length of your blog post so that you know what that number is. Okay, so and then then you increment, right? So now based on this looping, I build my blog content variable, and in this case I did a plus equals, and I did a div. Now you don't have to do it this way. You can do it however you want. This code is like not beautiful to me, but I got it working, and I know my next version what it's already going to look like. But just to walk through it, so I created a div with a class, and I ended up creating a new class called flex items. And before I had a class for each individual div, and I changed this so that I didn't have to change my class name. And then I did my array coming in, sub I, so in this case iterating over, grabbing the title, making a line break, uh, iterating over sub I for author, date, and markup, and then I end my div. Okay, so that is going to build one really long string, not really long, but one variable with a lot of content in it, and then I just go and query that section and place that into there. Okay, and like I said, it's not beautiful, but it works. So this is what it looks like. I also added a little styling so you could see this. It does flex, which is nice. My other ones are still there, right? But it doesn't matter. Okay, so that's what you need to do for today. Add some styling, do all that. Some of you are still bringing over some of your functionality, so you need to make sure you have some kind of login, even if you're doing websites, some kind of creation. Okay, so I know a few of you are still working on that. But here's where we're going to go on Tuesday. So we're going to end up using something that's definitely better, I think, and uses this concept of for each. So I can use the same array in this case. And by the way, let me just show you this. You also have a video to watch. This was a really nice, pretty quick 7-minute video for using for each with a callback functions in JavaScript. So I went ahead and started implementing it, and I'll finish my implementation on Tuesday. Again, but let me just show you. So watch the video to get a better idea. So what's nice about this is it has a for each, so it looks at the array and it has a callback. So it's going to iterate over the array without doing this kind of code that, by the way, there's nothing wrong with that code. It's just that there's better ways to do it, and that's what we're going to do here. And the video talks about this passes in the item, so each item in the array, the counter and the full array come in. And what's kind of nice about this is you just do a console log, and at least this gets you started with what we're going to do next week, right? So and here we go, array for each, and then my callback is here, and this is the code that we're going to run. So what's coming at you is the idea of, instead of doing this, building these strings, I'm going to change it to where I've been saying this for 2 weeks, so I apologize that I haven't done it, but whatever. It happens. Sometimes and this is what happens, you just get used to, and this is what I was saying before, you just get used to a way of doing things and you know how it works, and sometimes you get stuck and you don't want to do something different, but I need to. And we all need to, because it's just part of the learning process. Okay? All right, I hope that helps you out, and we'll talk to you next week, or for some of you, most of you, talk to you tomorrow.